Westfield, New Jersey is regularly ranked among the safest small cities in America. It is quiet, historic, and highly secure. The exact kind of place families seek out when they want a sanctuary. In 2014, Derek and Maria Broaddus closed on 657 Boulevard. They paid $1.3 million for the 6-bedroom Dutch colonial, a massive purchase that served as the payoff for years of saving. They started preparing for the move immediately. The family arrived to pick out fresh paint colors, and the children ran through the empty halls to claim their favorite bedrooms. They never spent a single night sleeping under that roof. Usually, the transition from closing on a house to moving in is a matter of logistics. Here, that trajectory was severed instantly, replaced by a silence that would last for years. 3 days after the sale went through, Derek walked out to check the mail. Mixed in with regular flyers was an oddly aged envelope with no return address. The front simply read, "The new owner." Inside was a typed letter. It started as a polite welcome to the neighborhood, but quickly soured. The writer claimed their family had been watching 657 Boulevard for decades. Their grandfather watched it in the 1920s, their father in the 1960s, and now, as the home approached its 110th birthday, this anonymous sender had been put in charge of watching it once again. The letter didn't stop at observing the house itself. It mentioned their daughter. Specifically, it referenced her private habit of painting inside the home's enclosed porch. This was an impossible detail for a passing stranger to know, largely because the family hadn't even moved their belongings in yet. Whoever wrote it had to be stationed close enough, with a clear line of sight into that exact room, actively watching them in real time. The Broadduses immediately went to the Westfield police. The officers read the letter and gave them chilling advice. Keep entirely quiet. Since the sender clearly lived nearby, technically, every single neighbor on their street was now a suspect. The police knew what this implied. The person documenting the family's lives wasn't a distant ghost, but a neighbor watching from just across the street. Looking down the boulevard, you can see how tightly packed the community is. Homes sit close to each other, offering dozens of potential windows, porches, and blind spots. 2 weeks later, a second letter arrived. The writer had been busy. This one weaponized a terrifying new level of intimacy, listing the children by their specific nicknames and detailing their exact birth order. Then the letter asked if the house would be filled with young blood. That specific phrase broke the family's resolve. The move-in came to a dead stop. Desperate for answers, they contacted the previous owners, the Woods family. The Woodses admitted something disturbing. Right before they moved out, they had also received a letter from someone calling themselves the Watcher. They assumed it was a prank and threw it away. But now it was obvious this was a sustained, active campaign. There was no way to explain this away as a coincidence or an old prank recycled from the previous owners.
Someone was watching this specific family in real time, and they wanted the Broadduses to know it. A massive, multi-tiered forensic investigation was launched. The Westfield police opened a formal case, and the Broadduses paid out of pocket for their own private investigators to quietly scour the neighborhood. Investigators attempted to pull DNA profiles from the envelopes and stamps, but got nothing. They ran deep handwriting analysis, but without a confirmed suspect to match it against, the odd theatrical typing style was completely useless. The family even consulted a former FBI profiler to build a psychological model of the sender. They blanketed the property with high-definition security cameras. Yet all this elite scrutiny captured absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, a third and fourth letter arrived. The tone shifted from mere observation to active malice. The writer vaguely predicted physical harm coming to the family, specifically suggesting Derek might find himself in a sudden car accident. Our modern forensic systems are highly optimized for tracking digital footprints, but if an adversary bypasses digital networks entirely, types on physical paper, and drops an envelope in a mailbox under the cover of night, a 21st century investigation goes completely blind. Paralyzed by the threats, the Broadduses tried to legally undo the sale. They filed a lawsuit against the Woods family, arguing they should have disclosed the earlier letter. A judge eventually dismissed the case. Trapped with a house they couldn't live in and couldn't sell, they proposed an extreme solution: demolish the historic 1905 structure entirely, bulldoze it to the dirt, and split the land into two separate lots. They wanted to physically erase 657 Boulevard from the map. The town rejected the demolition plan. Eventually, 5 years after buying their dream home, the family fully surrendered. They sold the intact property in 2019, taking a staggering financial loss of roughly $400,000. When they finally bought a new house, they did so entirely in secret. They used an anonymous shell LLC specifically designed to hide their new address from public property records. The stalker achieved a total financial and geographic eviction of the family without ever setting a single foot on their property. Most true crime involves physical violence, but at 657 Boulevard, nobody died. No blood was ever spilled. No physical attack ever took place. Over a decade later, the official status of the case remains frozen. No arrest has ever been made, the watcher has never been identified, and the police investigation has gone entirely cold. Which leaves us with a highly unsettling reality. Whoever orchestrated this psychological siege didn't vanish into thin air. They are likely still residing quietly in Westfield, harboring the secret. If you've looked at the evidence, or if you watched the Netflix dramatization, let me know your theories down in the comments. How does someone pull off a multi-year surveillance campaign without leaving a single trace? In the end, physical violence wasn't necessary. The mere proof of being seen was enough to dismantle a family's life and evict them from their own home.